Chet, you are a familiar face on this show. You have a long history of trying to take on the TV industry with video streaming and Aereo, and you were a guest on this program many times. So I'm curious what learnings you took from that experience with Starry.
I think we were, you could argue that we started the entire streaming thing because we were the first provider that figured out how to do live television. And now that's sort of the norm. And I think we've took, great comfort in that we predicted where the market was going to go. We also understood that I think cord cutting was real, and there is a real subscriber demand for what I will call a simplified product, and whether it's internet access or television or anything along those lines, more modernized version, because today, the incumbent experience is incredibly antiquated and just disappointing for most consumers, and it's largely a function of lack of competition.
Amish, why is FirstMark behind this, and what do you think sets Starry apart from other internet providers?
Yeah, so we've been investors in disruptive technology spaces for a long time. I think the first thing that we look at are management teams, whether it was Toby at Shopify, Ben at Pinterest, Jason at DraftKings. It's founders that can drive innovation and long-term disruption in markets. We've got a 20-year history with Chet and the team here, and we're extraordinarily excited about their ability to execute. We've seen it happen in action, and we think they are a great team to back, number one. Number two, they are vertically integrated, which is different than any other service provider out there. They've built all of their technology from the ground up. Chips, equipment, software, even the router is designed by Starry. So that gives them the ability to control the experience from end to end, and gives them deep R&D modes. And then the third thing is the market. Clearly, this is a massive market. It's a near monopolistic market. It's one of the most important resources one can have access to in terms of broadband, and we think it's ripe for disruption.
Chet, how is the experience actually different for users? If I have Starry, what does that mean in terms of my experience?
So Emily, it starts when you even order the product, because we actually show up within a 30-minute window of when you want it, versus I'll come between Monday and Friday at 4, between 8 and 12, or whatever that happens to be. So the experience really starts there. Second, at a technological or experiential level, it's a network that we can control up and down, so we can offer you different types of capabilities, both uplink and downlink, low latency. And as Amish mentioned, the wireless devices are designed by us as well, so you are getting a fully managed network at home. So think like really IT, world-class sort of IT experience built into even for residential broadband consumers, which is going to be increasingly more and more important as your collaboration software consumption needs increase, and you need a better low latency network. So all of those are long-term trends that are going to, put us towards networks that are what I will call application sensitive versus just dumb pipes moving bits. And really a technology that what we've done is really built architected network that's application sensitive, and ultimately we deliver a better experience with that.
You currently cover 4.7 million homes across 6 markets. Amish, what is the ambition here? I mean, is the hope for this to be like the Uber of transportation or the Airbnb of travel, and how does Starry get there?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the goal is to fundamentally disrupt the experience and to launch across the U.S. and ultimately internationally. And I think our coverage with the existing spectrum that we have covers over 40 million homes, and our ambition is to go after that and go build towards that.
Chet, the competition is pretty big time. You're competing with SpaceX. You're competing with Amazon and their Kuiper satellite networks. What do you have on them?
So it's interesting. Capacity matters in this business. So think about what's really happening, right? You're competing against cable, which is the largest incumbent, and they have about a gigahertz worth of spectrum. And none of these other technologies or approaches really come anywhere close to providing the experience that a customer really needs in any kind of density, right? So those technologies that you mentioned are appropriate for what I will call remote applications. You got a house in the middle of nowhere, or in a prairie, or in a vacation home, that all works great. But when you're in metropolitan areas or dense suburbs, that's where you need a lot of capacity. And your competition is coax and fiber. And in most part, it's just coax. So this is a technology that's designed for density, population centers where people live.